Hi folks, this is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report. And I think of all the years that I've done this fishing report, and it made me think about the people that are listening. A lot of you are probably just driving to work or whatever, and you may not fish at all. And I think of myself in one of the things that's always been hugely important to me, and that's football. But yet, when I'm watching TV and see some of these analysis talking about some of these different parts of football, they're talking about offensive schemes or defensive lineups, and they got numbers that go with it and so forth. And honestly, I don't know what they're talking about half the time. I don't know this stuff, and but that's part of the sport. And I want to be very, very aware of this, that a lot of you listening may not, I want to keep these broadcasts as simple as I possibly can, so that even if you're not a fisherman, you can enjoy listening to some of the things we talk about. And when I talk about fishing, I don't want to make it too technical. That isn't probably the right word to use, but I've thought so much about this, how if I talk about some of this advanced ways of fishing these lures, or I talk about drop shot fishing, and some of this might not mean anything to a lot of you, but I'll try to keep fishing as simple as I can, because I think the simplicity of what fishing brings into your life is something that's really, it brings peace and enjoyment in itself. And I've thought about one of the things that I did want to talk about sometime is, if I tell people that this lure will work great for them, well, what do they do to make it work great? It will determine how they reel it in, what action they give it. And, this is something I think that a lot of people don't realize. Most of the lures that you see, the finished lures that you see in stores that are made out of metal or hard plastic, they already have a built-in action. All you have to do is throw them out and start reeling them in. They'll give a certain action, a certain sound, a certain vibration, a certain flash. The companies that make these lures have spent a lot of time studying and perfecting, and that's all you have to do to catch fish with them. Now, if I'm talking to you about soft plastic lures, those don't have an action unto themselves. Those are something that you have to be able to present in the most natural way that you possibly can. And I want to express one other thing. For years, my favorite lure in the whole world, and I was part of the developing team that went into this lure, it was a Canadian lure, and it's called the Hydra. And it's a swim bait, a soft plastic bait that has a hard head on it. And you attach the soft plastic to that hard head, and that hard head has a certain action in itself. But I was able to catch more fish on this lure than any lure I've ever used, and I was because I had a certain technique of fishing it. I would throw it out. It's designed that you can throw it out and fish it just like the first category of lures I told you. You can reel it in, and it will wiggle and look fantastic. But when I fish it, I use a sort of a jigging motion, a horizontal jigging motion, where I'm jerking the rod tip as I'm reeling it. And it causes that lure to dart from side to side and just do different things than you could ever make it do on its own. And I got so that I could use that lure and catch more fish than just about anybody in so many of the waters that I went to through the years. It's caught the biggest fish in my life on that lure. And I got to tell you, but that's an example of the technique you use to reel these lures in. Is my motion the best all the time? I've had other people I've gone out with, and they've taken that lure and they just cast it out and reel it in, and they're able to catch great fish. And so it's something you have to learn to explore with. But remember, I'll always try to keep this as simple as I can, so the most of you out there will at least be able to enjoy hearing about the things that I talk about. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report.